It was at the end of the pandemic. I was kind of worried because the building wasn't being used much, and it was hard to get people to volunteer to be on the board, and it still is. But I didn't want to see this building go to developers because you could put 4 houses on this property, and nobody would, after a few years, nobody would know that this had been here and had been part of this neighborhood since the 20s. So I looked into the possibility of getting historical landmark status for the building. And then we got at first I started to look into the archives of this place. So I knew the history. And we still have a lot of the old records here. And so I knew what the history was, and I thought it was worth preserving. And I thought the building might have some future use for this neighborhood. So that's how I got involved with learning about what's involved with applying for historical landmark status. And I got a hold of Holly, and she did a lot, she did the application. It's very technical, and but she did a good job. It was approved. So I'm satisfied. I mean, that we accomplished something. And then shortly after we started that effort, John Monroe got more involved, and he's adopted the building. He was involved before, but mainly with the maintenance and upkeep of the building. Now he's serving as president, and so I think that we're on the right track. And there are more events here now. We have more rentals. We have a part-time manager who handles the rentals and does some of the grant applications and so on. So I'm very optimistic about the future of this place. Well, if you look at the architecture, it's very reminiscent of the 1920s. When this was this neighborhood was growing rapidly at that time, and I think it's been maintained well enough by our predecessors that it wasn't a big, huge deal to keep it going as far as a building. So I think it's part of the past, but it should also be part of the future. This neighborhood is the quieter part of Ballard. I mean, it's a residential part of Ballard rather than the waterfront and the maritime side of it, like the Pacific Fishermen's Shipyard, which I serve on the board of, incidentally. That's one side of it, but this is where the people lived who made Ballard their home for so many generations. So I think it represents a period of growth, and that seems to me that we've been able to preserve something that will be valuable in the future. Before they eliminated in-person balloting, this was a polling place for where we live, down on 67th and 35th. This was a polling place. So that's how, I think, and when we voted here, people knew it, at least they knew the building was here. Once the state went to all mail balloting, there was no longer that, and I'm not arguing one way or the other on the merits of that, but it made it less visible. People weren't aware that it was here, and they started to forget about it. So that was my first contact with voting here. Yes, it could very well be here 100 years. People could be standing in this spot and the building would still be here.